The labor supply and demand imbalance can cause the international flow of labor force and the flow from the countries with low level of industrialization to mostly in the country with high level of industrialization, where it's caused by the supply and demand of between the difference in different countries. So the industrialized country has more labor demand than the unindustrialized country. That means that's a difference cause the position. They have different demand for the labor, so that's why the labor force will move from different location between the different location. Um, and if the if the country such as the unindustrialized country not able to offer the workforce plenty of job opportunities, their labor force will flow to the industrialized country where they have abundant positions for them so that they can make the money there. So that's another reason for this labor force flow is caused by the economic cycle, where the important cause of the movement of labor. For example, if a country has an economic crisis, it will first dismiss the foreign workers, which will cause the return of labor and form the cross-border movement of labor. Along with this international trade, the investment and international economic activities, the flow of labor force will also happen. There's economic activities will always have the national employees flow with capital and goods, though their employees cannot go to different country without anything. They should bring their own money or capital or living goods or equipments for them to live in the different country. So the flow of labor is accompanied by the flow of capital, which will produce better benefits. The countries generally encourage the labor mobility to a certain extent. In addition to economic benefits, such mobility also enabled the migrants to learn intangible experience or other knowledge needs by labor exporting countries. Of course, this necessary conditions such as skill and personal freedoms for the international movements are also one of the important reasons for the international movement of labor force. And the fourth form of this mobility, labor mobility, is such as the permanent migrants, which is a large number of permanent resident migrant workers living abroad, such as engineers, technicians, and other permanent workers. And in today's labor flow, the short and mid-term flows international labor exports has become one of the most important form of the labor flow, accounting to a growing proportion. This means nowadays the short-term and mid-term the flow is take the most proportional percentage of these international flows. So in addition, overseas students and staffs in the foreign-funded institution and other domestic labor costs of foreign countries can account for this flow of labor. The economic analysis of the factors almost the same. So uh, similar to the capital that is caused by the equalization of the marginal rate of return of labor between the countries. And eventually, the welfare analysis is and the policy implication of this labor mobility is that so for the international flow is to attract talents for the recipient countries, and at the same time they can save a lot of labor force, education and training, healthcare and other costs. And the introduction of high-tech talents is really the introduction of innovation, the introduction of the new productivity. And in all factors of production, talents is the first factor, and therefore the competition for talents has actually become the fundamental method for countries to maintain the international competition in the 21st century, and also the fundamental basis for them to establish learning economic position relative to other countries. For example, the United States has attracted a large number of high-tech talents from all over the world in the late 20th century. That is an important factor in establishing his Americans' economic status on the world as a big high-tech and advanced country. So that's why it's maintained its leading position in the high tech and other modern fields in the science. However, for the some outflow countries such as China, has a lot of outflows of labor, and this international flow of high tech talents is usually the brain drain. That means the, the lot of um, smart people of this human resources flow out. That's just a loss of the good resources and give them up to United States. So the human capital contains in the labor force also flows abroad, which is a great impact on the economy abroad. Mm. So those and the income of the remittance of international laborers. For example, the international labor, if the people working in the United States, they're actually Chinese, they will remit their income in US dollar to China, their home, and that is a good, very abundant and very rich resource to gain the foreign exchange funds for the developing countries such as China. So also it enables outflows to receive foreign techniques and management trainings. And so for Chinese get more better training in when they work in the US. And that's why they can gain when they come back they bring their talents and knowledge learned in United States to China. So that benefits China's development as well. So that labor force flows from the developed country to developing countries, a supplement to the talents needed by the developing country. From this perspective, our policy it also supplies the talent needed by the developing country. And to attract and retain the talents is also a reason, an issue that countries attract attach a greater importance to. That means they very should emphasize to retain their the smart people to keep them in their own country and don't let them into flyouts. And how to send them is also a good subject to learn.